PA guy Jerome Haruska.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the Knights of Columbus, Archdiocese of Washington District Color Guard, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as we honor our country with a performance of the Star-Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, D.C. Washington.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wriggling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their all-star sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Little Nats All-Star cap action on the right side there. Tanner Roark is done with his warm-ups. The guys are pumping him up for his 19th start of the year. It'll be his 20th appearance overall. Tanner, by the way, 1-0 career against the Bucks in 3 games, 1 start. So it has cooled off from the mid-90s during the afternoon today to 73 right now, but look at that humidity. It's at 84. Delightful evening it has turned into. We have a beautiful rainbow across the Anacostia. Here's some Nats game notes for you. 14 of the last 18 at home, and look at this, a plus 56, outscoring the opposition. Tanner, last 3 starts here, unbeatable, 6 and .86 of run support. Any pitcher will love that. And against the battling Buccos, the Nats have won 8 in a row here at Nationals Park, so that goes back the better part of 3 years. Dusty Baker's ball club has won 4 straight, 12 of the last 16, and FP chasing that elusive 20 games over 500 mark tonight.
You're looking at the comeback manager of the year. If there was an award, he'd win it. He might win National League Manager of the Year, the way he's going, what he's done with this ball club. We'll see, long way to go, but you got to believe he's in the conversation.
Well, it all starts with pitching and defense. We documented Roark, Scherzer, Strasburg, what they're doing. Steven was outstanding last night, and what a comfort for any pitcher to know this defense is behind it.
Yeah, the left side last night flashing some serious leather. Don't forget, Trey Turner made a nifty play on a backhand up the middle, but Danny Espinosa showing off the bazooka. And then how about the range by Anthony Rendon? Over the shoulder, fence approaching. Not a problem. Remember, he had to go a long way for that. He was in the shift, almost playing shortstop. Nats fans doing a nice job of trying to help him out. So the left side last night, throwing the leather around. And with Tanner tonight, you know he's going to be working fast, throwing strikes. And if he keeps the ball down, you're an infielder, you're getting a lot of action.
Nationals have turned 87 double plays this year, 3rd in the league behind Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Strasburg brilliant last night. So Stevens' updated numbers now. He, of course, is 13-0. We all know that. The ERA down to 2.51. The league hitting 195 against him.
Well, this is the guy that everybody around here has been expecting for a while, and maybe rushing to what we're seeing, right? We were thinking, oh, yeah, this is the phenom. 2010, 14 strikeouts his first game. He's going to be the greatest pitcher ever. Well, it's a process. He's had to learn at the highest level how to deal with success, how to deal with failure, coming back from surgery, and now with the big contract, he started to relax, breathe a little bit, kind of get used to his own skin, so to speak, and we've loved what we've seen from Steven Strasburg after he came off the DL last year and what we've seen this year.
8th starter all-time to start the season, 13-0. So 21 of his last 23. The Nats win now 90% of the time when he's the starting pitcher. Bryce Harper, the first guy onto the field. Tanner Roark was the second. And Strasburg can relax after his brilliant outing last night and watch the Nats take on the Pittsburgh Pirates in Game 2. Bullpen getting ready. Bryce is going to salute the fans out there, and here come the the human paddles against the right field wall. Here's the Pirates lineup. They're 4th in the league in batting average, 6th in runs and 12th in home runs. And Andrew McCutchen, the Nats controlled him pretty well last night. He had a base hit and a steal going 1 for 4, but he's still, over his last 4 games, it's a hitting streak. 7 for 16, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, and he has a career homer against Tanner Roark. Right in front of him, Starling Marte is number 9 in the league at 315. So here's the 29-year-old righty looking for win number 9.
A 2-seam, 4-seam fastball. He'll cut it at times, too. It's averaging 92. Slider, curveball change to complement the heater. You see the game started 19. Opponents averaged 244 against the Nats right-hander, who looks to continue his success here at Nats Park. Here's the defense behind Tanner tonight. We waited a while, and here they are. Worth, Revere, Harper, the outfield. Espinosa, Rendon, left side. Drew Robinson, right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Yeah, word has it that Daniel Murphy could have started tonight. Dusty's going to give him one more day. And hey, Stephen Drew's been fantastic. 333 over his last 23 games. And he's a shortstop, so he can handle any position on that infield. Seven-year veteran Chris Conroy has the plate tonight. Crew chief is Jerry Meals over at first base. There he is. Paul Nauert at second and Ron Kulpa at third base. How about our Coons.com scouting report? Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
Well, you see Homie, 13-10 with a 2.88 and 29 career starts at Nats Park. And 6 is the magic number. He's worked at least 6 innings 49 times of his 66 career starts.
Yeah, and this year 15 out of his 18. So we're underway at 8:16. 1 hour and 11-minute rain delay. And a bouncing ball into the shift for Stephen Drew. We knew he'd get the first chance. John Jaso, by the way, leading off, hitting .275. Retired. Marte and McCutchen are next. Yeah, it's a night when you want to aim your camera at the right field corner here, because there's an amazing rainbow just upstream at the Anacostia. And to the left, I don't think the cameras can see it. Our eyes can. There's another one. So we've had double rainbows around here a lot. Here's Marte, who had his 100th hit fall in last night. 7th in the league in that department. He's batting .315.
It's the best analysis of a rainbow, Bob, I've ever heard.
Well, thank you.
It's outstanding. I mean, you could have went through all the colors of the spectrum, but that's okay. I mean, it's really good.
0-2 to Marte, who's 1 for 5 career with a homer, 2 RBIs against Tanner Roark. In the air to right. Bryce Harper toward the line. Plenty of room, even though it went drifting foul. 2 outs. Next up, McCutchen. Batting average at .247. A bit shocking to most of us, or all of us. He's never hit below .259 in the big leagues, and that was back in 11 when he was really coming into his own. He drove in 89 runs that year. Against Roark, he's 1 for 2 with a homer. And Tanner fooled him with that slider. He was looking for heater first pitch.
We see all the perspiration on Tanner Roark's arm here early. I mean, he's just 2/3 of an inning into this deal, and he is sweating. A humid night here at Nats Park. He's trying to rub up the ball to get a good grip. Working fast, throwing strikes. Not shocked.
Locked him up with another breaking ball. And Tanner Roark comes out dominating. Evidently, the extra hour and 11 minutes didn't bother him one bit. both ends of the horizon, evidently. Absolutely marvelous here at the ballpark tonight. The Nats are 8th in the league in batting average, 4th in runs, 1st in homers. Wilson Ramos, 9 homers out of his 13 against right-handed pitching. He's hit safely 18 of his last 23 games and hangs in there, tied for second with DJ LeMahieu in the batting race at 332 behind Daniel Murphy's 348. So Ben Revere back in there tonight, and the Nats face Garrett Cole for the 4th time ever.
He's been on the DL since June 14th. First start back for Garrett Cole. His last start was on June 10th.
Coming off strained right triceps. Strike one to Revere. And they sent back to the minor leagues their young phenom outfielder Josh Bell as the other roster move they needed to make room for Cole. Ben Revere is 7 for 12 career against this right-hander.
That's the highest average of any player versus Garrett Cole.
In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So Cole, a couple of rehab starts in AAA Indianapolis for the Pirates. He threw 8 scoreless innings, struck out 12, and walked nobody.
Outfield around to the left for Ben. And the heater is outside, 2-2. Cole career 45 and 24. There's those great matchup numbers as Garrett makes his 86th career start, 4th against the Nats, 2-0 with a 1.74 ERA. That's going to punch out Ben Revere. He took a couple away, that one under his hands. Chris Conroy rang him up. Nissan tracks it.
Little run back fastball from Garrett Cole. 95 miles an hour. Looked like it just came back and caught the front corner. Pretty good pitch. Revere didn't like it.
Jason hit 3rd last night. 0 for 3 before a 7th inning walk. And the 0-1.
Pretty good career numbers right there for Jason Worth.
Good take on a ball outside.
There's one number he wants to improve on. Going back to the dugout to get something. What's he getting right there? Did he forget his wrist guard? He did. The number he wants to improve on is 1, and that's the number of rings he has. It's the only one he really cares about.
Three takes on pretty good pitches, actually. After it went to 0-1, Worth has walked 45 times this year, 76 strikeouts. Yeah, he still holds pretty much all the Phillies' postseason batting records, including home runs and RBIs. That's a strike, and it's 3-2. As you can see, Garrett Cole's thrown a bunch of strikes in this AB. 3-2 with Bryce Harper on deck. And a pop-up that won't be in the air long, but it is out of play into the second row.
The Pirates defense tonight: Marte, McCutchen, Rodriguez, Mercer, Gung left side, Harrison, Jaso right side, and Eric Fryer behind the plate.
Yeah, the fiery Sean Rodriguez back in right field tonight. This guy's on a home run tear. He's homered in 3 straight games. Didn't start last night. Here's a 3-2 with 1 out. And Worth, another hack, straight back it went. So Jason over 31 ball games, 299. 32 walks, 21 runs. That's another great at bat by a guy who works the count as well as anybody in the major leagues.
That pitch was close, folks. Bottom of the zone, below the bottom of the zone, could have went either way. Jason Worth eyeballing his way to first base.
So a base runner for Bryce Harper. In the cleanup spot last night, 0 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base. So they got the shortstop, Jordy Mercer, right up the middle. Just a little bit to the right of the bag, and then Harrison on the dirt to pull. Long pause and time given.
Friday Stars and Stripes jerseys last night. Saturday Reds tonight. Looking sharp.
I'll tell you, the Nats, some kind of eagle eyes. And from the pitcher, an evil eye back to the umpire. Garrett Cole stared down Chris Conroy for a moment there. He's been around the plate with a lot of pitches. He's walked one. Now it's 2-0.
Well, he saw the frustration by Jason Worth going back to first. He thought he had a good jump. And then he stopped, so he's looking to go.
2-0 pitch. Bryce airing it out. Back to the screen, 2-1.
Hey, Jason and Davey Lopes trying to figure something out down there, and it might be the tempo and the rhythm of Garrett Cole more than the actual times to home plate. They're talking between every pitch, and Jason Worth is working real hard to get a good jump. 8 stolen bases against Cole this year, only 1 caught stealing.
Worth on the run, popping up to throw, and not in time. Eric Fryer and Jason Worth. Yeah, they figured something out. He's now 4 for 5 this year.
He tried on the first 2 pitches. Clint Hurdle saying, hold on. And Jason Worth is saying, go ahead, challenge it. I think I was safe. Jason Worth looking speedy right there, huh, folks? You see the tag? Did he get in there? Looked safe the first time. Pretty good throw by Fryer. This is going to show where his foot is in relationship to the base, and play on. Question is, did he take the bat out of Bryce Harper's hands? I don't think so at a 2-2 count. We'll see. I like the aggressive nature again here tonight.
Now the third baseman Gung was playing out where a shortstop would. He has to get back over closer to third now with a runner. 2-2. Harper goes the other way. He'll drop it into left. Worth had to make sure it fell. And then Bob Henley had the stop sign up the whole time. And a good swing by Harper gives the Nats runners at the corners. 1 out.
Oh, good at bat by Bryce Harper. There goes the no-hitter. So check that box. Looked like a little slider from Garrett Cole. Just stayed up. Bryce with the inside-out swing. And Jason not really knowing how the ball's carrying here yet tonight. Didn't know if that was going to drift to Marte, so he had to hold.
Bryce Harper's 75th hit of the year moves Worth to third. And here's Anthony Rendon. Cleanup spot for the first time this year. Career 20 plate appearances in the number 4 hole. And he's 2 for 6 with a walk career against Garrett Cole.
Bryce looking to run.
Why not? He's been a pretty hot base runner lately. Bryce has 14 now in 20 attempts. And that has him on the National League stolen base ledger, tied for 8th. Low throw. Jaso dug it out. Yeah, Bryce only stole 6 all of last year. So he's swinging and running his way to a 2020 season at least.
Dusty's thinking it's going to be a curveball here, and he wants Bryce to go. You could just tell by what he's thinking.
Rendon, a base hit, and the Nats are on top. Harper's going to make the turn, and right in the face of Marte going to third, and they got him. Starling Marte now has 10 outfield assists. That may be the most dangerous guy on the Pittsburgh club to run on.
Yeah, it's one guy you don't run on in the league. He's not just a powerful arm, but he's accurate too. So a lot of guys in baseball have a strong arm. They don't throw guys out. That's not the case with Marte. He'll throw you out, whether it's trying to go first to third or trying to go home. But like we said last night, the aggressive nature is fun to watch when it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Did he get his foot in there? That was close. He tagged him up by the knee. Did his foot get in there?
Nats apparently not challenging.
Just got him before his foot hit.
Here's Clint Robinson. Rendon did go to second on the throw. Clint takes a strike outside edge. He's in the number 5 spot tonight. Coming off a 2 for 3 last night with an RBI single, another base hit, and a run scored. Couple of the Wolfpack guys heading for 100 at bats. Robinson and Drew in the lineup tonight. Clint has had 97 at bats. Steve and Drew 91.
Do you think there's a ceiling of at bats where you're no longer in the Wolfpack? Sorry.
I think once a Wolfpack, always a Wolf, huh?
Sorry, you have too many at bats. You're considered a regular now, and you're not a member of the Wolfpack.
1-2 now. Shift on. Harrison in right field, and Clint takes it inside. The count 2-2. And by the way, Anthony Rendon now has an RBI from every spot in the batting order in his career. How about that number? Fun stat. Robinson to right center. This ball heading for the scoreboard and caught by Sean Rodriguez.
What a play.
To save a second run and probably keeping Robinson from reaching third.
Well, not a great play if you're Clint Robinson, but if you're a Pirates fan or you're Sean Rodriguez, how about this one? Going away from home plate into the gap, the fence approaching, and Garrett Cole fired up by the effort from his right fielder. Right there by the Pirate, Sean Rodriguez. I don't have any fancy data at my hands, but the route efficiency here is an A+. So how about that? You see him checking the fence a couple of times, going into the gap. A lot of hang time on that ball. But Clint Robinson hit that one right on the screws. And Sean Rodriguez said, not on my watch. Garrett Cole celebrating the Pirates, saving him at least one run.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens after that?
Yeah, Garrett Cole was heading for a 2 or 3 run inning there with around 30 pitches. Instead, it's a 1-run inning on 24 pitches. And here comes Tanner Roark against Jung Ho Gung. Pirates third baseman in the cleanup spot. How about this? 9 pitches, 8 strikes to start the game after strike 1. Gung 0 for 3 last night, batting 6th. And you talk about a pitch on a guy's hands. 0-2. By the way, the Marlins have fallen behind now 4-0 at St. Louis. And the Mets have gone up by a couple of runs at Philadelphia, 3-1. Two-1 Mets at Philly. The familiar crouch of Mike Maddox eyeballing his battery. Fastball sails up, and it's now 3-2.
Yeah, you'd swear he was a catcher in a different life. He sits like that the whole game.
Kind of an uncharacteristic AB there for the opposing pitcher. Tanner Roark doesn't lose many guys when he had him 0-2. Let's go inside some numbers brought to you by Jeep. So the last 8 games here, total domination by the Nats. Look at the runs. The average with scoring position 100 points higher. Pirates have not scored a first inning run in this ballpark in years. And the starter's ERA, no contest. So here's Sean Rodriguez, who made that amazing play.
They say about making a great play, he hits second the next inning.
Yeah. Most of his career with Tampa Bay, came to the Pirates last year in a part-time role, hit .246 and 4 home runs. This year, 10 already. And he's homered in his last 3 games. And his last 4 as a starter.
I mean, he's an eye patch away from their logo, isn't he? The one on their shoulder.
Maybe he could be a Pirate of the Caribbean very easily.
Seriously, he put an eye patch on that guy. He's put him on the right sleeve. That's him, Sean Rodriguez, folks, right there.
One pitch. That ball is ripped. Drew Espinosa, 4-6-3. That's number 88 for the Nationals infield. And everything went really well except for Clint Robinson's throw to take it around the horn. It's now in left field.
Well, that part doesn't count. Who cares? He's still rattled from getting robbed by Sean Rodriguez. He felt like throwing it at Rodriguez probably after this double play, but a well-hit ball on the ground right to Stephen Drew. Tailor-made double play. Nicely done.
Two outs, bases empty, just like that. Next up, Josh Harrison. Harrison led off last night, went 0 for 4 in a brief slump. Batting average at .270.
At least Clint Robinson didn't tip his cap to Sean Rodriguez after he made that play. That drives me nuts when players do that. You just robbed me of a hit. You're taking money out of my pocket, and I'm going to tip my cap to you? I know it's good sportsmanship and all. No. Never tip your cap to a guy that robs you of a hit. Ever.
Base hit Harrison. And for Josh Harrison, that breaks up an 0 for 13. That'll get Jordy Mercer to the plate.
Dusty Baker bobblehead. Newsflash. Breaking news. The 17th one of the year. Tuesday, July 19th, with the Nats take on the Dodgers. For tickets, visit nationals.com/tickets. 25,000 of those bad boys be given away. All right.
Cool. Mercer hitting .296 his last 24 ball games. Had an RBI single last night. Drove in the Pirates' only run. Another one of those Oklahoma State guys who made it to the big leagues. He was an infielder and a pitcher, all Big 12 in both categories there. Facing Tanner Roark for the first time. Harrison took a pretty good lead. He's stolen 14 bases in 15 attempts.
Opponents 15 of 19 against Tanner Roark this year.
And a 1-1 with 2 outs. Runner started, then stopped. It's a called strike right on the outside edge. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Quick late slider. Good frame by Ramos.
Pretty good lead by Harrison. Front foot out to the cut of the grass. Roark sees that and throws over. Target in. He's been running that fastball in on some hands here. That wasn't the heater, but it was up and in a bit. Target away by Wilson Ramos. Runner goes. Base hit right behind him. And Harrison speeds over to third. So the Pirates have had 3 base runners in this inning. The double play looking large. And it'll be the number 8 hitter, catcher Eric Fryer, next.
Fastball up a little bit. It's got some good arm side run to it. But Mercer does a nice job of pulling his hands in, fighting that one off. Pretty piece of hitting by the Pirates shortstop.
Next up, their catcher Eric Fryer. A lot of Pirate fans here, and they're making some "Let's Go Bucks" noise here. Nats fans are going to try to boo them quiet. Fryer 6 of 18 with 5 RBIs. So this is the classic number 8 guy. How do you approach him? With the pitcher on deck. Although Garrett Cole is a very good hitting pitcher. Couple of career home runs.
He's had over a month off. I'm taking my chances with him.
I hear you. Catching duty split between Fryer and Eric Kratz, with Francisco Cervelli on the DL with a broken hamate bone. Pirates miss him. That's on the outside edge, 0-2.
That's a beautiful pitch is what that was. Watch it. I mean, this is, I'm giving up on this too. Who doesn't? It's in the left-handed batter's box, and then it just hangs her right at the end for a strike. Look where this ball starts. Look where it finishes. Beautiful pitch. Do it again.
He'll go a little bit higher with it. Tried to paint with 94. It's funny how A couple of years ago, when you first saw Tanner, you likened that fastball to Greg Maddox's, and now Greg's brother is the pitching coach.
Weird. I still liken Tanner to Greg Maddox. He reminds me so much of him, the way he approaches it.
One-two pitch, and that straight change in the dirt. 2-2. You just don't want anything to get too much of the plate here. If you walk him, you walk him. Fryer, not that many at bats this year, but he hit over 300 in St. Louis before they put him on waivers, and the Pirates picked him up. So for the season, he's hitting .357.
Nice job of staying on that pitch by Fryer. If he's thinking about the run back fastball as a right-handed hitter, you could start a slider in the same spot, break it off the plate, and he's going to go with you. Because he's thinking out of the hand, he's going there again. It's going to come back. I have to swing. You commit to it, it breaks out of the zone. You got to swing through strike three. And maybe he's shaken to that. We'll see. No, they're going in.
2-2. Right on the hands. Pirates trying to parlay some defensive momentum into a run-scoring inning here after the throw by Marte and the fantastic diving catch by Rodriguez. Tanner Roark looking for the shutdown inning after he was handed a lead. Fryer not biting, ball 3.
He tried it, and he almost swung. So there was the slider that started on the plate, broke off. Fryer checked his swing, and now see what they go in a 3-2 count right here.
Jordy Mercer on the move at first. Robinson will play behind him.
Don't have to throw a strike here.
Looked like a slider. Espinoza has it. There's the gun. And Tanner Roark, in terms of the scoreboard, does get the shutdown inning. The Nationals still lead by 1. Buy 3 2016 regular season games and you get one free. Some restrictions do apply. Visit nationals.com/summer for all the details. There's the hardware store over on the first base on deck circle. Nats coming up to Hack. Bottom of the second, Ramos, Drew, and Espinoza. And we check in on Lucas Giolito. What he's done in 15 combined minor league starts this year. 5 out of his last 6. And when you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. It's brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Either Joe Ross, if he's activated, or Lucas Giolito, we hear on Wednesday against the Dodgers. Outside to Wilson Ramos. Joe's been doing some throwing. A little bit of long toss, some BP. That's a high chopper. Over to the third base side for Jung Ho Gung. Plenty of time to throw out Wilson Ramos. Next up, Drew, then Espinosa.
You see what Gung did right there? He put his hands up to block the lights. A lot of times on choppers at third base, there's a light bank right behind the dugout. And I've seen third basemen lose ground balls in the lights, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
And that's why he threw his hand up there for a second, because that ball was in the light bank. Yeah, there's a light banks. Have to be a high chopper, though, here in Nats Park. Real high chopper, and that's what that was.
Here's Stephen Drew. Hitting .242. Fantastic work off the bench. Part-time starter. 5 homers, 11 RBIs. His last 23 games. And those 23 games, we're not talking 3 or 4 at-bats a night. Way inside. Almost got the jersey. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I thought it did. That was close.
That ball ripped. It was fair when it went over the bag, but it's where it lands on the line drive, and it hooked. Drew facing Cole first time. Shift on. Third baseman out at the shortstop spot on a 1-2 pitch. Very few what you would call quick outs in this Washington lineup. And the dangerous number 8 hitter waiting. 1-2 with 1 out. And Drew hits it well the other way. Ball falling. McCutchen can't get to it. It gets by him. Marte picks it up. It's a double for Stephen Drew. You know, FP, it looked like he had a plan that entire at bat to take the ball over that way. Good stuff.
He pulled the one foul, and he's thinking, okay, I just got him to that side. Maybe he's going to go away, and he stays on it so nice with the 2-strike approach. And I was going to say this in the first inning, but I'll say it now. Dusty Baker is at his very best when he has a man or two down. Shuffled lineups, putting guys in, putting Anthony Rendon in the cleanup spot, for instance, tonight. Stephen Drew at second base. I mean, that's when Dusty Baker really earns his paycheck. And I don't know that there's anybody as good as him in baseball at doing that.
Here's Danny Espinosa. He rips one to right. The Nats will double their lead. Coming home to score is Drew. Espinosa, RBI number 50, as he pulls into second base.
What a weapon. What a weapon for Dusty Baker to have at his disposal. How many times do you watch a National League game and you see the 8th place hitter and you go, oh, here's an out? I mean, because honestly, that's a position in the batting order for the worst hitter, for the guy that's really known for his defense or maybe his speed. But now you have a guy for the Nationals, and Danny Espinosa, that has 50 RBI and 18 home runs, hitting 8th the majority of the time this year. What a weapon.
And now he's going to steal third. He's there with 1 out without a throw. Danny Espinosa's been running more lately, and he's 6 for 6.
This is just exciting baseball they're playing. A lot of pep in their step after the 4-day layoff. You saw it last night, and you're seeing it again here tonight.
Tanner Roark now a chance for his 2nd RBI of the year by swinging. He took a mighty hack trying to get one to the outfield or beyond. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tanner 3 for 35 this year, but he's had a whole bunch of balls hard hit at people. 142 career hitter, 2 batted in.
Bunt it to first and let Danny take care of the rest. You saw it last night with Strasburg.
He's airing it out here. Target away. Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball. 2 outs. 2nd strikeout by Garrett Cole, who fanned Revere starting the 1st. And now it's up to Ben with 2 outs.
Oh, here's where the stolen base might come in handy if Ben Revere gets an infield single. He can fly. You mentioned his ownage against Garrett Cole. First time up, and he struck out on a tough pitch.
Yeah, a couple of takes on pitches away, and then Cole busted him on the hands. Everybody back with 2 outs on the infield except for Jung Ho Gung in the baseline between 2nd and 3rd. Battle on 0-2 now. Nats lead 2-0, looking to add on here. A lot of base runners early in this game. Revere on a breaking ball down and in, strikes out. Danny Espinosa delivers, so the Nats double up on Garrett Cole. First the left-hander Drew goes the other way to the gap, and then Danny Espinosa, first pitch of the at-bat into the right field corner. After 2, Washington leads it by a couple. Second inning, but no runs given up. PNC Bank, most starts with 7 innings or more this year. And Roark right in the middle of an all-star roster of great starting pitchers. And by the way, he's gone at least 4 times in a row. He faces Garrett Cole, 5 hits this year, a home run, and 3 RBIs. Homered earlier this year against Patrick Corbin of Arizona. Into the 9 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park. 1 hour, 11-minute rain delay before first pitch. Now the Nats have come out swinging and lead 2-0 on 4 hits. Cole overmatched by a big breaking ball that ends up way outside. Tanner Roark's second strikeout.
So you remember early in the season, Tanner had trouble with the Marlins. It was on April 7th and again on April 18th. They scored 4 runs on 9 hits the first time, only 4 innings, and 5 runs on 7 hits the second time. All of a sudden he's thinking, they know what's coming. For some reason, these guys are on every single pitch, and now, after those 2 starts, he flops his glove around so as not to tip off pitches. Whether he was or wasn't is almost irrelevant. Now it gives him the confidence to know that they don't know what's coming. So how can you see what I'm doing with my glove if I'm moving it all over the place as I change the grip on my pitches? You can't, because he's doing the same thing every single time, flopping his glove around. Who knows if he was tipping him off, but the fact that now he knows there's no way they can get it, it's giving him a lot of confidence.
32-year-old John Jaso in the batter's box. Big league time with Tampa Bay, Seattle, Oakland. Back to the Rays last year. And Tanner Roark is making some hitters look pretty bad right now. Nissan will track a mid-90s heater.
Well, it's the swing back heater when he's got that thing going, the front hipper. Good luck. I mean, that's so tough as a left-hand hitter to say, I have to swing at something that's coming right at me.
How's this? First 10 batters, he's been 0-2 to 5 of them. One of them, ironically, turned into a walk, but he has now struck out 3. Here's Starling Marte. Three-hopper to Danny Espinosa. Bang. Over to first just like that. And Tanner Roark gets a very quick 9-pitch third inning.
One tonight to look forward to Miller time later in the ball game. That's brought to you by Miller Lights.
2-0 Washington. 2-4 Nats, 0-2 Bucks. And our upcoming schedule. How about Max Scherzer tomorrow? He'll be going against rookie Chad Kuhl. Max is 10-6. And the league's only hitting 192 against him. Day off Monday, Dodgers here for 3. Make a note of high noon on Thursday. And then San Diego next weekend. The Nats are in for another long homestand here. Daniel Murphy, we hope, back in the lineup tomorrow.
It was so nice of us to give the Dodgers a noon start time when we had a night game there in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and we were going 2 time zones east. Thanks a lot, Stan.
I feel like the baseball gods might make it rain on Wednesday.
We're just kidding, Stan Kasten, former Nationals president.
No, I'm not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, how great would day baseball be at Dodger Stadium? I know it was hot that week.
I don't know. You tell me, because it was a night game.
Yeah. Quite a rip by Jason Worth. I got to tell you, the first game I ever did in the major leagues was a day game at Dodger Stadium, and it was absolutely fabulous. Of course, that was 3 decades ago.
Before they had lights?
Vin Scully was in his 3rd year.
Wasn't even shaven yet.
1-2, and the curveball is going to ring up Worth. He buckled, and then that thing just caught the knees by Garrett Cole. How about a Volkswagen? Moment in history. 20 years, 273 days when Bryce was the youngest National League starter in the history of the All-Star game. Hey, why not? He was the youngest Nat ever when he came up to the big leagues a year before that. 19 years, 196 days. And then the following year, by the way, that was slightly younger than Ryan Zimmerman at an old 20.238 in 05. But Bryce broke onto the scene, All-Star game, and then the next year he was a starter. Rookie of the Year in 2012. And still looking for home run number 20. Shift is on, and that ball's right down the middle, 1-1. So there have been younger ones, but Bryce the youngest in the National League. The name you may not recognize there is Jerry Walker, who would go on to become one of the best baseball executives of all time, working a lot of years for the Tigers and St. Louis. But look at that roster, including a former Nat manager, Frank. Fastball inside, 2-1.
That was close.
So Garrett Cole has struck out 3 in a row. Harper a little bit late for 94, and the count goes 2-2. Target away, and Bryce couldn't get to it. 4 strikeouts in a row by Garrett Cole as he gets Roark, Revere, Worth, and Harper. How about some home field advantage from Lowe's? Most comeback wins at home, the Nats with 17. Most in the National League. They did it again last night. After the Pirates scored in the top of the 5th to take the lead, the Nats matched that run, and then they had the 4-run 7th inning. Hey, your cleanup guy's supposed to drive in runs, right? That's what Anthony Rendon did first time up. One and a 2-hopper to Jordy Mercer. So the Nats are gone in order. First inning in which they did not score tonight. To the middle innings we go. 2-0 Washington. To honor our wounded warriors, our armed forces, men and women here at the ballpark tonight, and their families. So this troop recognition is brought to you by DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. Top of the 4th inning. And the heart of the order to get through here for Tanner Roark. He'll face McCutchen, Gung, and Rodriguez. McCutchen not waiting around after he saw those big hooks back in the 1st inning. Tanner Roark in his first 3, throwing 43 pitches, 30 strikes. Fastball away, didn't swing back quite enough. Well, there are the Nat Killers. That ball, a rifle shot into right, and a one-hopper to Bryce Harper. So McCutchen has his 2nd hit of the series, 2 for 6 so far. That gives him a 5-game hitting streak, 8 for his last 18.
A nice piece of hitting right there. Ball down by Tanner Roark. Pretty good pitch, but sometimes good hitters beat good pitches.
Here's Jung-Ho Gung. Tanner Roark had him 0-2 first time and then walked him. Erased him on a double play. Bouncing ball to 3rd. Rendon had to wait. Drew can't get a handle on it. He did get the out at 2nd, just couldn't make the exchange.
Pretty good trade of runners, though, if you're the Nats. I don't know that this was going to be a double play. But I think because he's rushing the throw, it took a long time to get to Rendon, so get the lead runner, exchange runners, and Gung doesn't run as well as McCutchen, so all good.
Next up, Sean Rodriguez, who hit the ball extremely hard to Drew first time, and he got rid of it in a hurry to Danny for the double play. Painting that outside edge.
He's always good at painting the outside edge to right-handers, but when he's really on his game, it's the height of the ball. When he's up and away, then you see the line drives to right. When he's down and away, then you see the ground balls to 2nd. And tonight, for the majority of his pitches, he's been living at the bottom of the zone like that, keeping the ball down nice.
Yeah, and speaking of keeping the ball down, coming into the ball game, Tanner Roark was tied with R.A. Dickey of the Blue Jays with 16 double plays induced on the ground. He's added number 17 with the one we saw back in the 1st inning, actually the 2nd inning. That's an 0-2 pitch way in on the hands of the right-handed hitter. Hay came out firing, 8 pitches, 7 strikes, 1st inning. He's kept the ratio very strong. He buries the 0-2 pitch, and a good block by Wilson Ramos. Phillies got a run in the 5th. They tied the Mets 2-2. Marlins down 5-0 now at St. Louis.
Remember the play-in game last year, the Pirates and the Cubs, and Rodriguez lost his mind in the dugout and just started punching the cooler?
Yeah. And I've seen it.
It's a good shot, guys. Way to go.
Nice shot, Chuck. He gives us a cooler as if on cue. Future of that cooler could be in jeopardy.
He hates coolers.
Yeah. But I've seen video of a couple of fights the Pirates have been in, and he's a guy who get in the middle of everything.
You want him on your team, that's for sure.
Absolutely. That got him on the foot or the leg. So the foul ball keeps the count 2-2.
No Gatorade endorsements in his future anytime soon.
Rodriguez is from Miami. Pirates got him in a trade with the Rays for a right-handed minor league pitcher and cash considerations back in December of 14. Nationals up, looking for that ground ball again. And Rodriguez with a late swing stays alive.
I'll tell you what, though, if you're the Pirates and you play in that play-in game every year like they do, that'll make you lose your mind. A one-game playoff to get to the next round.
And they've lost two.
Two in a row.
Yeah.
Once to the Giants, last year to the Cubs. It's no fun. And then they're in the same boat this year. They're playing for that second spot.
Pretty good battle here. And Rodriguez just got himself again.
His feet are having a rough at bat.
Here's Mercedes-Benz pitch tracking the entire AB. They got a pitch to work with there on number 8. And a 2-2 for Moore. Ramos setting up outside edge. Count goes full, 3-2. Next up, Josh Harrison, who had a base hit last time up. The runner is going. Strike call. And that is a strikeout, throw-out double play as Jung-Ho Gung just basically stopped and walked into a tag.
Yeah, barely got him at second. That was bang, bang. Super close. I'm surprised the Pirates aren't going to challenge. You got to slide, don't you?
He just came into the picture.
Was ball 4. So he starts right here. He's got a good jump. He's running hard. Then he sees Wilson Ramos catch the ball. And why did he stop? I'm going to show you. Check out Chris Conroy, the home plate umpire, and how late he called strike 3. Watch the umpire. He still hasn't called it. Still hasn't called it. Now he calls it. So as a base runner, a lot of times you're looking into the umpire because you can't hear the sound. You're looking for the strike 3 call. Yeah, don't be an umpire, keep running, all that. But in Gung's defense, Chris Conroy called that when he was almost to second. He had no idea that was strike 3.
Late. Here's Clint Robinson, robbed of a double or a triple first time up on the amazing play by Sean Rodriguez. So he'll rip one the other way and get a base hit. For a guy who does not play every day, Clint Robinson is pretty locked in right now.
How about for a guy who's trying to be an everyday player? Because if he keeps swinging it like this, who knows where he's going to play? Dusty will find a spot for him.
2 for 4 last night.
Robbed of an extra base hit his first time up by Sean Rodriguez. This time goes the other way, and Clint Robinson can hit, folks. Last night, the nice read of the ball in the dirt going to third. Fryer threw it away. He scored. It's a baseball player in every way.
Next up, Wilson Ramos.
I mean, ideally, Carp, as a base stealer in that situation, you run through it and then let it take care of itself at the end. But there must have been a verbal strike 3 down there because Wilson Ramos came out throwing. The one that we saw was real tardy, and that's what the hitter relies on a lot of times in a 3-2 count when he's stealing. Still think they should have challenged.
Wilson Ramos, career home run, 2 RBIs against Garrett Cole. Couple of knocks last night, opposite field 5th inning, right up the middle in the 8th to go 2 for 4.
Good hack.
Yeah, tried to level off on that breaking ball. Big gap left center. A lot of room right side of the infield. A 1-2 to Wilson Ramos. And that fastball came tailing back in at 97.
They're getting his rips, isn't he? Letting it fly with 2 strikes. There's the Buffaloes.
Target away on 1-2. Wilson Ramos to the right field corner. Ball slicing into foul ground and hitting in the first row up there. In case you missed it, and if you're with us, you did. Here's the Geico President's Race. All 6 of them in action tonight. Down goes George. Herbie and tall Tom Jefferson brings one home to Monticello. Not sure what happened behind. That was quite a pileup.
That was all fun and games, too.
That was I-95 on Sunday evening coming back from the beach. Ramos got a fastball in the air, right center. McCutchen waiting for it. First out of the inning, and Stephen Drew is next.
Join the Nats in honoring the United States Marine Corps on Wednesday, July 20th, 7:05 start against the Dodgers. Part of the team's series of military branch days that's delivered by UPS. Visit nationals.com/tickets for more details. Nats are putting up some pretty good at-bats against Garrett Cole here tonight.
Yeah, Wilson Ramos, 7 pitches, that AB. Stephen Drew, as FP noted, after pulling a ball hard, went to left center for a double his first time up. That's up in the zone, strike one. Stephen Drew playing in his 49th game of the year. Clint Robinson his 55th. And both of the part-time guys have checked in with base hits. That ball is well hit right field corner. It's going to one-hop the wall, stick near the wall. Robinson to third, held by Bob Henley. And Stephen Drew is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles.
It's a Wolfpack inning. Clint Robinson with the base hit, Stephen Drew with his second double, and now highly doubtful that Danny Espinosa hits, right?
They got to walk him, right?
They got to. Or do they? We've seen teams fall in this trap before, but first let's check out another good at-bat by Stephen Drew. So you eliminate pitches and locations. First time up, a double to left center. This time he looks in, turns the fan on, a double down the right field line. Yeah, they're not pitching to Espinosa. No way.
Danny Espinosa walked intentionally for the 10th time all year. That number should probably be double that by Nats opponents.
If the number doubles, look for Danny to hit in a different spot. There's no way Dusty Baker will sit around the second half and let this weapon, which that's what he's become now, a weapon, be walked every single day. He can move him around. He can hit him 7th. He can lead him off. He can hit him anywhere. But if you want him to hit and they keep doing this, his days are numbered in that spot, in my opinion.
Well, first time up, Tanner Roark had a runner at third and 1 out. Garrett Cole worked him over with breaking balls away, and Tanner struck out. This time he has bases loaded with 1 out.
I mean, how long can you keep a guy that's going to drive in 100 and potentially hit 30 home runs in the 8th spot? Dusty's told me he likes him down there. It's a comfort thing for him. He's learned how to hit in that spot. But if he keeps getting walked on a daily basis, it'll be interesting.
Swing back fastball, a good one for a strike. Now the middle infielders are back looking for a double play. Corner infielders in their base lines, pinching in as much as they can. Strike 2 on the outside edge. Garrett Cole has pitched Tanner Roark like a regulation hitter twice because he's had to. Working off the full windup here with the bases loaded.
Spread out, choke up, put in play.
That's a good job of staying alive on a wicked curveball.
So, Carp, this is an example of Danny Espinosa on first base. You see where John Jaso is. In the old days, you don't have a guy holding you on right here. So if Roark hits a ground ball, if I'm on first and I'm Espinosa and I got wheels, I'm blowing somebody up on a double play for a run. You can't do that now. This guy's sliding to second base.
Another good take.
Used to live for that as a good runner on first base. Nobody holding you on. You get a big primary lead. You shuffle off, and you're right on top of the middle infielders on a ground ball. You come back to the dugout a hero because you broke up a double play. Now, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Danny just has to slide into second if there's a ground ball. He
doesn't want to go to 3-2 here. Throws him a strike, and Tanner Roark stays right with it.
I might buy him a curveball or a slider right here. Let's see. Pretty good hack on the heater. He's getting close.
Hits it right side. They can't get two, and that ball is thrown away. 2 runs will score. Josh Harrison couldn't get squared up, and the Nationals lead 4-0.
Just a baseball player that happens to pitch, folks. Tanner Roark. How about that? I mean, that's a nasty pitch by Garrett Cole. Mid-90s fastball down and away. He's got 2 strikes, bases loaded, trying to help himself out. Watch where this pitch is. Down and away. He goes down and gets it. And then Josh Harrison going a long way. The spin move doesn't work. And once again, a Nats pitcher runs into a Pirate first baseman. Last night it was Steven Strasburg. Tonight it's Tanner Roark. Look at the dugout in the background. Boys are having fun playing hard.
Well,
Yeah.
Tanner Roark gets an RBI.
You give him a hit on that?
I would give him a hit, and then maybe the second run on the error. Obviously an error by Josh Harrison. So it is a base hit for Roark, his 4th of the year.
Look what this pitch is. Down and away, emergency hack. Just shorten up, put it in play. Exactly what we're talking about. Good things happen when you put the ball in play.
And by the way, still only 1 out. Infield in for Ben Revere. Garrett Cole has struck him out twice, so Ben has seen everything he has. And the Nats have a chance to really bust it open now. So Tanner Roark checks in with his 4th base hit of the year, his 2nd run batted in. And the Nationals, with 1 swing from the pitcher, have doubled their lead. Slow roller left side, coming home, and safe is Danny Espinosa. The Nats lead 5-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, for you young coaches at home that are teaching the contact play, meaning I'm reading down angle at third base, you can't do it any better than Danny Espinosa just did. He can't get off that far because look where Gung is, but watch, as soon as he sees the down angle, he takes off. So his momentum going to home. Check out the hook slide. Comes back, just gets the base. How pretty was that, by the way? The slide by Danny Espinosa, the read, and Dusty doing the same thing we just did up here in the booth. Safe.
Yeah, I tell you, these guys will hit the ball out of the park, but the Nats, the last 2 nights have been running wild and successfully on the bases. Now Worth will foul one.
Tell you what, when you're grinding every day for 3.5 months, you're getting on planes, you're playing games after you had night games on travel day, your legs are not there. 4 days off does wonders for your lower half. You're seeing fresh legs here the last 2 nights because of the All-Star break.
Now Worth takes one low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fielder's choice RBI for Ben Revere. He drives in his 18th run. Worth suddenly the 7th National to bat in this 4th inning that still features only 1 out. And the Nats have put a lot of pressure on the Pirate defense in these 2 games.
Yeah, pitch number 80 coming.
Busted bat, caught up the middle, and then Tanner Roark, who stayed at 2nd on the previous play, gets doubled off. But the Nats pick up 3 runs, and the 4th inning of Nationals baseball, brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. Tonight, This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Well, Tanner Roark right in the middle of everything in that 4th inning when the Nats pick up 3 runs on 3 hits, an error, and now a 5-0 lead into the 5th inning. In comparison, by the way, Roark at 57 pitches, Garrett Cole at 80 through 4 innings. Harrison, Mercer, who both singled first time up, and then Eric Fryer here, top 5.
Exciting baseball by the Nats out of the break. I like the run till they tag you stuff. I think it's fun to watch.
Josh Harrison, base hit to right first time. In that inning, the Nats scored 3. 2 runs were earned. And Roark just missing away, 1-1. Foul ball jammage, 1-2. Just foul before the bag. Potomac Nationals, they'll be back home Thursday. They'll have a 4x4 Friday family pack, a halfway to Festivus bobblehead giveaway on Saturday, military appreciation night, Dollar Monday. It's all coming up down at the Fitz in Woodbridge. Check out our High A minor league ball club, the Potomac Nationals.
Tickets are going fast.
1-2.
You didn't say that. It's on the read. They are.
I shut it down just like Tanner did. He's back at it. That ball into right center. Here comes Bryce. Harper on the run to make the grab. Mercer and Fryer the next 2. Right-hander A.J. Schugel is throwing. They've liked what they've seen from him so far. You kind of wondered what might the pitch or inning limit be. Probably more so pitches for Garrett Cole tonight. And the Nats may have him out of this game with 80 through 4 innings. Mercer, base hit to right his first time. If anybody gets on in this inning and there's no double play, the Pirates will get down to the number 9 spot in their lineup. Hard hit, might have hit the side of the mound, didn't bother Stephen Drew. 2 outs. So many really good interchangeable parts on this infield defense.
You can put Trey Turner at second. You can play him at short if you want to give Espinoza a day off. You can put Murphy at first. Drew could play second, short, or third. Who's on first? What's on second? And I don't know who's on third.
Yeah, and Murphy played third for the Mets when David Wright was hurt last year.
That's right.
Here's Eric Fryer.
Wright's on third, right?
Wrong, it's Murph.
Who?
Look forward to seeing Daniel back in the lineup tomorrow. Eric Fryer, a bouncing ball to Espinoza first time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Joyce, who started in right field last night, if the inning continues. Front door, and that one just inside.
Fryer had the big at bat so far tonight. Last time up.
Yeah, 2 on, 2 out. Tanner got him on the ground. And another one for Bryce Harper. Tanner Roark, second inning in the last 3. He's gone 1, 2, 3. It'll be Harper, Rendon, and Robinson. 5-0 Nats.
Stuff, and the good stuff is 5 runs for the Nats as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And a lot of doubles in this game. Nats playing hard. Tanner Roark clutching up with the bases loaded. But let's go back to the 2nd inning. Stephen Drew going the other way. Good effort by Andrew McCutchen. Drew into second base. That was his first knock of the night. So check in Wolfpack. And then Danny Espinosa goes first pitch hunting for a double down the right field corner. That would score Drew and make it 2-0.
3 runs later, we're in the bottom of the 5th. A.J. Schugel is 27 years of age. He's from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Pitched at Central Arizona College. Originally drafted by the Angels, and the Pirates got him off waivers from Seattle. It'll be his 31st appearance. 44 innings, 38 Ks, 10 walks. They like him. And all the Nats will see him for the first time in person. Harper 1 for 2.
Yeah, fastball 92, curveball 78. Lots of changeups at 82, 83.
Target in, and Bryce thought he could get up to it. 0-2. Harper's now been on base 33 of his last 35 games. He just reached down and hit that ball hard to right. Drifting for it, Sean Rodriguez, 1 out. Phillies have come from behind and lead the Mets right now 3-2. Miami down at St. Louis. 5-0 in that game. Tom Kohler was their starter. Logan Verrett for the Mets at Philly. Jared Eichhoff for the Phils. Rendon 1 for 2 with an RBI single. There's that changeup. Rendon, high and deep to left center. See you later. Into the bullpen, 6-0 Washington. So now he's a cleanup guy too?
He is tonight.
Anthony Rendon's first homer since 9 days ago at New York. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, batting fourth. Here's Glenn Robinson, who's had 2 great swings. .126 for the Nats on the home run count.
So he walked by the lineup on the wall today, and I was right behind him, and he saw he was hitting fourth. He said, "I'm hitting fourth?" "Yeah, you're hitting fourth." Look at Jose Lobaton. I'm trying to finish the story, and I can't even get through it.
I told them to show that in case you couldn't get through.
The version I had in my mind was way different than what I said because I was distracted by the Nats backup catcher.
That's Gung, the third baseman, on that play.
I mean, trust me, it was a good story. You couldn't believe he was hitting fourth.
Yeah, no, we're right with you.
And there's home run number 10 for Anthony Rendon. What a pretty swing. You could tell by the way he took the changeup that he was tracking. Love that guy.
You put Oliver Perez, Jose Lobaton, and some Gatorade cups together, and you've got trouble.
You got a party.
So Anthony Rendon now, double-digit homers, 10 long balls with 35 RBIs. There's Wilson Ramos. Now the Nats have outscored the Pirates 11-1 in this series. In there, 1-2. And by the way, when the fans travel for the series, it's not that far to Pittsburgh. Our fans don't have a whole lot of fun over there because the Pirates are so tough at home, and their fans are not enjoying this weekend at all so far.
Not as much as Jose is. Look at the frames on the side. Nice
well,
work.
You've been talking about what a good framer he is all year.
Look at that. He's got the hooks around his ears and everything. Oh yeah, by the way, there was a home run. And it was Anthony Rendon's 10th. It was high, it was deep. And it was fun to watch. And he got his helmet taken off by Goggles. Driver's seat, we're going to show you the night of Tanner Roark. And Carp, I don't know how long we keep saying the best kept secret in baseball or the most underrated pitcher in baseball, because, I mean, it's only a matter of time before the world finds out what we've known for a couple of years, that Tanner Roark maybe knows how to win. Gunn should have called a timeout, by the way, right there. And then with 2 strikes, a nasty pitch from Garrett Cole, down and away. Tanner puts it in play. Couple of runs score. He gets himself a base hit. So he's doing it all so far in this one. Tanner Roark.
Pitch number 71 is a strike to the pinch hitter Adam Frazier, hitting for Schugel. Frazier, a 24-year-old rookie. He'll slap one and hit it pretty well out to center. Ben Rivera, an adjustment or two, 1 out. And for Tanner Roark now, 6 consecutive batters retired. Pirates box score. Garrett Cole went 0 for 1 while he was in there. 2 hits in the second by Harrison and Mercer, but Eric Fryer hit a ground ball. Leadoff single by Andrew McCutchen, 4th inning. Ground ball and that strikeout throwout double play took care of that business. And since then, nothing for the Bucks. Top of the order, John Jaso. Right side into the shift. 2 down to Stephen Drew. Tanner Roark is trying to go at least 6 innings for the 16th time this year. He's made 19 starts, including tonight. Starling Marte is going to have to take his time here to get to the batter's box, or the Pirates might have their gloves right back on.
And for the 50th time in his career, Carp, in 67 career starts.
That's impressive.
Worked at least 6 innings. So 1 out away from 50.
In case you forgot, it was a trading deadline deal for the Nats and the Texas Rangers 6 years ago that brought Tanner Roark to the Nationals. He was one of the losingest pitchers in minor league baseball the year before that. He's just been fantastic.
I find that so hard to believe, just based on the competitive nature, and that, you know, everything I see from him exudes winner.
Yeah.
The way he competes, the way he helps himself offensively, fields his position, and grinds every 5th day. Pounds the strike zone. What else do you want in a pitcher?
Yeah, you know, and that 17-loss season was actually after he came to the Nats. It was the following year in 2012 when he went 6-17 at Syracuse. Then he won 9 games the year after. Soon thereafter, he's in the big leagues, and pretty much to stay. 2-2 pitch. Marte, a rocket, and right there is Danny Espinosa. Tanner Roark, 8 batters in a row retired. He'll bat 3rd, bottom of the 6th, straight ahead, and they're having a big time at the Yard tonight.
Nats 6-0 as we cruise into the bottom of the 6th inning. Our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every Tater a Nats player hits this season, so keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
We used to call him Jonathan, but he kind of goes by John Nice right now. Longtime Met, 29-year-old right-hander takes over. First year, not in the New York organization. And he's made 18 starts for the Pirates, going 7-6.
With fastball 89, he'll cut it a lot, 87. Curveball 74, changeup 83. Did you get that? I'm testing you.
Got every piece of it. Don't ask me to repeat it, though.
No, I meant everyone at home. Testing.
Nats box. Start in the first with an RBI single by the cleanup guy, Anthony Rendon. In the second, RBI double, Danny Espinosa. On the bases, all heck broke loose again. Fourth inning tonight. Tanner Roark an RBI. Ben Revere an RBI. And that ball scorched into right center. Stephen Drew is going to go double 3 times. League's leading hitter, the guy he replaced tonight, and Daniel's got to be impressed with what this guy's doing.
That's a 3x3 animal style right there. 3 doubles for Stephen Drew. Just the bench doing it again. What do you have to add? The Wolfpack clutching up. Stephen Drew has been quite an add to this ball club, and that's an understatement.
First time he's ever had 3 doubles in a ball game. Danny Espinosa, and look out, he's been a terror from the right side for the last month. As we mentioned last night when the Pirates started Francisco Liriano, Danny Espinosa's batting average right-handed has just skyrocketed. It's at .282 right now. I mean, he was 100 points lower than that about a month and a half ago from this side of the plate. 10 o'clock in Washington, D.C. The Nats in charge. 6-0. Most recently, the Rendon homer adding a run. Danny Espinosa, 9 for 21 career against Nice. This one high in the air, left center. That's not deep enough with that arm out there. Marte will wait for Drew to do something, and Steven will walk back to the bag. 1 out. Next up, Tanner Roark. I just love the way he gets in there, sticks his nose in there. He's up on the plate trying to make something happen. Did last time. That's back to the pitcher. Drew retreating to the bag on the second out. Ben Revere next. Follow the Nationals live. It's the MLB.com at-bat app. Game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, some of the most innovative stuff you'll see online. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Top of the order, Ben Revere. 0 for 3, but an RBI last time up. On the edge. Eric Fryer all over the place trying to catch, and Revere trying to get out of there. Right through the wickets and over to third base, Stephen Drew.
That was 5-hole, wasn't it? Yeah, 5-hole. Oh yeah, little redirect. It's a goal. Double 5-hole. Umpire too.
They're calling it a wild pitch.
I would say
this is not a comfortable at bat for Ben Revere.
I would say based on the first 3 balls to Ben, I would have called it a wild pitch too. He almost got hit twice and then one in the dirt.
3-1. Revere's driven in 18 this year.
Look out.
And he's going to first base, and the left-hander Jonathan Neese all over the place here. Nationals walk for the 3rd time tonight.
And for every one of those walks, it's $50 to support Girls on the Run DC. The Nats have drawn 331 walks for 16,000, excuse me. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. $160 million raised.
Jason Worth knows John Neese very well. 11 for 36 career, 3 RBIs, a couple of walks. Longtime Philly, longtime Met, but really he's a longtime Nat now. Jason Worth, 6th year here, came in 2011.
Weird package deal.
Yeah, that was changing the face of the franchise. Yeah. Worth and Santangelo the same year.
Package deal.
Things were pretty normal around here before you two showed up.
Paycheck slightly different, but package deal.
But normal, as we found out back then, not always that good or exciting. It's been pretty good.
Normal's boring
since he got here.
So boring. Don't ever be normal.
Jason Worth, in so many ways, changed the way this ball club and the organization approaches things.
At first it was received as, oh my goodness, really? And everything that he wanted changed or said should be changed was right and worked, because he came from winning organizations and knew what needed to be changed around here. And it's worked. He changed the culture in that clubhouse the second he arrived, and at first it was perceived as okay, but then everybody figured it out that this guy's right and this guy's just not right in any way, shape, or form. I can't help him.
Yeah,
he's beyond help at this, but I don't know, he's got eyeballs now.
That's a swing and a miss on a pitch, diving down and away. 6th inning over. The Nats strand a couple. They've only left 5 tonight while scoring 6. Lobatone getting blinder as the night goes on.
That's great.
Washington, 0-3-1 Pittsburgh. Let's go inside the numbers as Tanner Roark toes the rubber for the top of the 7th. So the Nats up among the best when leading after the 6th inning, which they obviously do here. 40 out of 43. Pirates are good in that category, although fewer opportunities. They have a very good closer in Mark Melancon, who's 27 out of 28, and he's saved 23 straight opportunities. But the Nats have kept him in the bullpen so far in this series. Roark, 78 pitches, coming off an 8-pitch 6th inning. Andrew McCutchen is 1 for 2. In the air, right center. Revere makes the call. On the run, 1 out.
Tex Masson's word of the day, lunch, to 29292 for a chance to win a signed Mike Rizzo baseball and an Outback gift card from Masson, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse, open for lunch every bloomin' day with over 70 combos starting at just $6.99.
Here's Jung Ho Gung, 0 for 1 with a walk. Tanner Roark still baffling hitters. He's retired 9 in a row since that McCutchen base hit. That was in the 4th inning. Inside edge, outside edge, you name it, he's hitting it.
You don't only not know what's coming, you don't know where it's coming. So you're guessing all kinds of different ways if you're facing Roark for the 3rd time. He never falls into patterns. He's hard to think with. That's why the average against goes down every time he goes through the order.
I mean, look at the swing it takes just to get to that ball.
Right.
Everything gone for the hitters except his arms and his hands. Gung, fielder's choice ground ball last time up. A baffling breaking ball. Had it been a little lower, he'd been struck out.
That's a good pitch.
Yeah, Nissan checks it out.
That's a good pitch.
Well, they're talking about bringing the strike zone up. Hot shot to third. Rendon has it. Off the bag, but Robinson just waits to make the tag. 2 outs. Next up, Sean Rodriguez. I mean, a big curveball.
No idea what's coming. And usually I can sit up here and guess. I mean, I could look at signs, but.
Yeah, the heater and a base hit by Rodriguez. He's hit the ball hard twice. First hit of the night, ending a string of 10 straight retired by Tanner Roark. Josh Harrison is next.
Well, in a 6-0 game, this is a big at bat for one reason: the pitch count. He's at 88 right now, and could determine his fate on how deep he goes into this one based on if he gets Harrison out or has to go deeper into the 7th. Seems like the Pirates are ready to swing.
His 2 longest outings of the year, each 7 1/3. May 3rd at Kansas City and a 7-6 loss, and then June 21st at Dodger Stadium in that frustrating 3-2 loss when he left with the lead. So ironically, his longest outings on nights the ball club couldn't get much done for him. Espinosa getting it done to Drew, and there we go, 7 innings again for Tanner Roark.
That's a big out. You got a chance to see the finish line after that.
Big crowd on a Saturday night. Had to wait a while to start it. 1 hour, 11-minute delay. It's been worth every moment since. Harper, Rendon, Robinson, bottom 7. Up in the zone, outside edge. Bryce Harper, 3 for 16 career against Jonathan Neese with 4 walks. 18 pitches, 11 strikes for him in relief last inning. That ball hit pretty well to left, but it's going to tail right back to Starling Marte.
Time for some Yellowwood, bringing the lumber. Pressure treated pine. Serious pressure put on this baseball. And Anthony Rendon's first at bat, the RBI single. And then how about this one? Home run number 10 in the 5th inning. A far one into the Pirates bullpen. So Anthony Rendon hitting 4th tonight and hitting like a cleanup hitter.
4 for 13 career against the lefty.
If the Nats hold on and win this tonight in your Dusty Baker, would you think about resting Daniel Murphy one more night, one more day? You've already won the series if you hold on here. It gives you that luxury, and it gave him the luxury to give him the day off today because they won last night.
Well, there's a day off Monday. Murph probably wants his stroke back. He stroked it pretty well in the All-Star game the other night. 2 outs.
That's a good call. But he did play in the All-Star game, so he had the BP the day before, played in the All-Star game, so it's not like he had the 4 days off to get rusty. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see if he's in that lineup tomorrow.
Clinton Robinson 1 for 3. Two for 2 against the left-hander Neese. Strike 1. Clint's hit the ball pretty well 3 times tonight. That's going to be a bouncer on a couple of hops to John Jaso. And the Nats are done in the 7th. Tanner Roark's at 90 pitches. You'll see number 91 shortly. Can be at the Nats hold on tonight and have Max going tomorrow. He's 10-6. Last 8 starts, 1.66 ERA. And Max Scherzer will be looking for his 11th win tomorrow. Chad Kuhl, a 23-year-old rookie right-hander, will be going for Pittsburgh. Johnny and Ray get you going at 1 o'clock with Nats Extra. 1:30 we join you from the booth, and 1:35 Scherzer's first pitch.
Time for Toyota K's for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a $37 donation to Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season. That was a nasty cutter.
Ball 1 to Jordy Mercer, followed by the catcher Eric Fryer, then a pinch hitter here. Top of the 8th for the Pirates.
That no-hitter by Scherzer last year, that was a Saturday day game, I believe.
It was.
Because they had the red jerseys on. It's the only reason I'm guessing Saturday.
How about that? 8 singles for the Pirates in this series. Outscored 11-1. Front door pitch into left for Jason Worth off the bat of Mercer. And now Tanner Roark matches his longest outing of the year.
All right, kids, this is for you. Bryce Harper Kids Jersey Day, Sunday, July 24th. First 10,000 kids 12 and under will receive this special giveaway. Visit nationals.com/tickets today. That is cool. It's a little bit smaller than the one you're looking at.
They're up there hacking. Eric Fryer, a foul ball. Pitcher spot due up next, and Matt Joyce for Jonathan Neese. Little tapper, foul. Well, look what the Phillies have done. They came from behind to beat the Mets. The Marlins have lost at St. Louis, and if the Nats hold up this score, they'll be 7 up on both of those ball clubs with Max Scherzer going tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Haven't said that in a while. Tanner Roark, 4th strikeout tonight, and his first since the 3rd inning. Mercedes-Benz has it.
It's a run back fastball. Started it off the plate. Brought it back.
And now it is Tanner Roark's longest outing of the year, 7 2/3. By the way, he did have a strikeout in the 4th inning on the front end of that strikeout throwout double play. So 5 Ks on the night. Matches up with Matt Joyce for the first time. That's Juan Nicasio. He'll take over in the 8th for the Pirates.
So 101 pitches. It's another big at bat in a 6-0 game.
Hot shot. Clint Robinson. The outs keep coming, and they're coming fast for Tanner Roark. He has 1 career complete game. He has been just outstanding through 8 innings tonight. Masson, brought to you by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. 6-0 Nationals. And thanks to Steven Strasburg and Tanner Roark, there are some underemployed guys in the bullpen right now, and that's good for the ball club the way things are going.
All right, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to the 4th inning. Tanner Roark with 2 strikes against a nasty right-hander, and Garrett Cole puts the ball in play and gets himself a base hit, drives in a pair. At that time made it 4-0. I feel like the Miller moment could have been when Tanner Roark got out of his car in the players' lot today.
Here's Juan Nicasio, 29-year-old right-hander for the Pirates. 20 games, 12 starts this year. But whenever I hear Juan's name, I think about that night in Colorado when Ian Desmond hit him in the head with the line drive, and so thankful that he's been back healthy for a couple of years and still in the major leagues. Now a Pittsburgh Pirate. 53 games with the Dodgers last year, mostly as a reliever. And here's Wilson Ramos.
Let's see, a fastball, slider, and a change. Fastball's averaging 93.
Wilson has not faced him before. A rare 0-for for the Nats catcher tonight. Ground ball, fly ball to center, swinging strikeout. And he had a big time swing at that one. Counts even 1-1. One pitch. Ramos to right, and that'll turn it into a 1-for-4. Wilson Ramos has 3 hits and 8 at-bats in the series so far. Now here comes double Drew.
Well, he's never hit 3 doubles in a game, so that means he's never hit 4 doubles in a game, because I'm a sharp tool up here. Do you think he can hit 4? Can he do it? I say he adds on a tater. I'm calling it right now. Why not? So there's the 3 doubles.
How about that? He's gone from 5 on the year to 8 with 3 swings tonight.
266, 7 home runs, 16 driven in. I think another double would be cool.
He was swinging for the gaps right there. Strike 1.
Has any Nat ever hit 4 doubles in a game? I got the boys on it.
That's in there. Mid-80s on the changeup by Juan Nicasio. Drew is 0-for-2 against him. Very close, just a little away.
My guess would be Ryan Zimmerman, if anybody in this franchise. Well, at least the DC part of it.
I was thinking Ryan and maybe Christian Guzman. He was a doubles machine at times.
Yeah, that's my guess right there.
Okay.
I'm checking my emails. I'm not seeing a whole lot.
And a 1-2. Taking the off speed, counts even.
So no Nat has done it. Drama. It is
cool.
6-0 game. Thanks, guys. They didn't have the answer on my Pokemon game I'm playing right now.
A 2-2.
Well, he's locked, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get it by him right now.
You can just tell by the swings. His timing's right on. No Expos players ever done it either, I'm being told.
I mean, he was so far ahead of that pitch, and he still got a piece of it. His first one was to left center. The second one, right field to the left of Sean Rodriguez, and the third one toward the gap. So he's used about every quadrant of the ballpark you can. Most of the pitches away in this AB. Turning into a great at bat, 3-2.
You could play Daniel Murphy today and keep Stephen Drew's bat in the lineup tomorrow if you'd like, if you're Dusty Baker. There's a whole lot of ways you could do that. Stephen Drew's been taking grounders at first too. You win the first two games of the series, it gives you lots of options to give guys off days. I don't know how many guys need them though after a 4-day break, but you never know.
3-2, nobody out. And a slow bouncer to the left side. Drew digging. They got him by about a half step. He was smelling a 4 for 4. Ramos down to second base, 1 out. What a great night, though, for Stephen Drew.
You're right. He was smelling an infield single here. So 3 doubles, going for a 4 for 4, and a nice play by Gung to finally retire Stephen Drew.
Danny Espinosa next. 1 for 1 career against Nicasio. And there's that guy on deck, Tanner Roark, who's already pitched 8 innings on 102 pitches. Dusty's going to send him back out there.
I like it.
Well, he's old school, and that's what old school guys did. Espinosa will pull one to the right side for Josh Harrison. What a nice moment. And maybe another one to come next inning. Check swing and a foul. He got jammed, fought it off over the screen. Strike 2. How many starting pitchers get 4 at-bats in a game anymore?
It's a rarity. It's a privilege. I'm flipping coins in my head. Do you get a single here and stand up, or do you just take her back to the dugout with a 6-run lead and get a cup of Gatorade and go out and finish this thing?
He's swinging, and he's gone. But the top of the ninth is coming up. The Nationals behind Tanner Roark, and great offense leads 6-0. Walk-up music here in the ninth inning. But he's been around for the other 8, and I'm sure Johnny and Ray will have a lot to say about that. We invite you to tune into the Nats Extra postgame show, presented by WB Mason. When this one is over, 3 outs from now, and we'll see how long that takes. Top of the order for the Pirates: John Jaso, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen.
Stranglehold by Ted Nugent. I think it fits.
Jaso, 2 grounders to second, a taken 3rd strike. Pitch number 103, Steve Reich 1. This is Tanner Roark's 67th big league start, 105th appearance. And up the middle goes the base hit on a changeup. That's only the Pirates' 5th hit tonight. Blake Treinen has been throwing if needed. Next up is Starling Marte. Dan Farova looks like he just answered another phone call. Tanner Roark's previous complete game of the big leagues was 105 pitches against the Padres, April 26th, 2014.
That's where you have to focus on the process if you're Tanner, not the finish line. If you start getting away from what you've been doing all night, thinking I'm 3 outs away from a complete game, then that takes away from the focus you need, the pitch by pitch focus, the process on how you've been getting outs. For guys that haven't been to the finish line too often in their career, you can get caught up in, 3 outs away from a complete game and get away from what you've been doing all night. It's like standing on the 18th tee the first time you're going to break 80, thinking if I par here, I break 80 instead of just swinging like you have the whole round.
Oh, and 2. There have been 2 double plays tonight, 1 on the ground, 1 via a strikeout throwout. Marte can run hard to double up. He has hit into 5 this year.
I think a lot easier to stay in that process mode if it's a one-run game versus 6-0. Now that's going to creep into your head a little bit more easily than if you're grinding out there in a one-run ball game.
Oh-2 to Marte. Front door breaking ball, and he pulled it. Yeah, we were talking about that the night Scherzer struck out the 20 Tigers. That was a close game. He didn't have a big cushion. He was grinding the whole night. It was, what, 3-0, then it became 3-2.
Right.
And he was able to finish things off. Considering that game situation, pretty amazing. Tanner's been ahead 6-0 since the 5th. And that hits him.
That's going to do it for him tonight, too. Watch. I mean, you're starting to get up in the 120s here if he stays in much longer. And Dusty Baker in a 6-0 game has to go get him. Here he comes. Well, we'll listen to this applause. It should be pretty good. What
going to be 8+. We're going to put you in the ballpark and let you enjoy the moment. Next smiles for when this one is over. Has to feel good about what he accomplished tonight. 110 pitches, 79 strikes. He pitches 2 batters into the 9th inning. Blake Treinen, meanwhile, 28-year-old right-hander, will appear in his 40th ball game. 36 innings, 29 hits, 33 Ks. With Blake, it's all about throwing strikes. Andrew McCutchen is 1 for 2 career against him. Tanner Roark about to go 9-5 as long as the bullpen takes care of business. In the air, right field line. Long run for Bryce Harper. Nobody able to get there. Tanner Roark just limited anything the Pirates could do tonight. Man, that is wicked when it hits that far out in front of Wilson Ramos.
Well, the guy in the dugout appreciates that block because those runners are Tanner's out there. Those are his runs. So Wilson keeping everybody where they're at with a nice block on a nasty slider in the dirt.
Tanner Roark came into this game with a 3.01 ERA.
We used to scream that at relievers from the bench back in the day. I mean, they come in and give up the other guy's runs. Not your runs, don't worry. And that's like the only thing I can tell you that we used to scream from the bench.
Two-two pitch, target in. McCutchen right side, well placed, base hit. Harper charging, they're going to hold the runners. So the Pirates showing some life here. They have bases loaded, nobody out. They would have to get 2 more runners for this to become a safe situation as Jonathan Papelbon gets up. So the Nats well out of slam range right now, but some outs to get here. Jung Ho Gung is next. He faces Treinen for the first time. Into left. Not very deep. Worth on the way in. The runner at third is Jaso. He's not going anywhere. 1 out.
It's big out. Now you're 1 pitch away.
Yeah, that's always in play with the Treinen sinker, isn't it?
Yeah, get that double play and shake hands.
Max goes for number 11 tomorrow. The Nats 2 outs away from leading the Marlins and the Mets by 7 games in the East. Sean Rodriguez 1 for 3 tonight, and he sees Blake Treinen from 60 feet away for the first time. And, you know, it's not just a sinker. It's a blow-by fastball as well.
Well, that was the 4-seamer right there. He just reared back and chunked it.
There's a slider that he comes nowhere near. Now it's 0-2. Trusting your catcher, throwing that pitch with all the bite it needs with Jaso at third, Marte at second, McCutchen at first. Crowd of 38,861, a sellout. They've seen quite a ball game. Now they want it over. There it is, strike 2, or rather 2 outs on strike 3. So 1 more out to get it over, and Rodriguez didn't like the call.
A pretty good frame by Ramos. See him setting up real wide. He's waiting for that slider in the dirt. And might have caught a break right there on strike 3. They'll take it.
Josh Harrison, the final Pirate hope. Blake Treinen's got it. What a job by him. Game over for the Nationals, their 7th shutout of the year. And Tanner Roark in 8+ brilliant innings is now 9-5.
And he did it on the mound. He did it at the plate with the 2-strike base hit. Made a 2-0 game a 4-0 game. Nats running all over the bases. They're playing good baseball, folks. It's happening again. Enjoy the ride.
Nationals, yes, they've done it. 20 games over 500, first time this year.